Up and downs, Group C. The Protoss player starting to the bottom right for Team LGIM. Starts in green, it is.
LGIM Ruin.
LGIM Ruin currently looking at 2-1 score overall today in the group, and he is up against a Zerg player starting to the bottom left. This is the Leenock. 0-3 today.
FXO Leenock.
He will not be able to advance out of this group. He is stuck in the Challenger League already.
He's looking, you know, bouncy in the booth there. Not as stressed as before, obviously, because nothing is on the line for him except his pride.
So, just to go over the standings in the group for everyone who watches the VODs now and didn't tune into the live stream and didn't hear the results earlier on. We're currently in a position where Leenock is out. He's the only player where we already know what's going to happen to him. He's in the Challenger League. He's playing a game that is not relevant for him anymore. If Ruin takes this game, then he advances to the Premier League, and the next and last game of the day between Pick Baby and Avenge is going to determine who is going to advance together with Ruin. If Leenock, on the other hand, now wins this game, Ruin isn't out. No, he will definitely be able to play at least in a tiebreaker. Because if Leenock takes this now, we will have a tiebreaker. The only thing that is going to be determined is what kind of tiebreaker we have. Because then we go still into the game between Pick Baby and Avenge. If Avenge takes that last game, then he will advance to the Premier League. Keen, Pick Baby and Ruin would be in a tiebreaker to determine the second spot. If Pick Baby, on the other hand, wins it, then it means that he advances to the Premier League, and Keen, Avenge and Ruin would fight for the last spot. So if Leenock takes this, we have a tiebreaker either way.
I think Ruin might try to cannon here. He doesn't do it. The timing was weird for it, but he for some reason added a forge before his nexus after scouting the pool. He didn't need to. But I like this a lot with his probe. And this is going to be a great way for him to come in and scout if there's any aggression coming out. And especially when Leenock, like we have a sandbag player in the group like Leenock, you never know what they're going to do. They're back in the corner with their back against the wall, and there's nothing left for them to care about, so they might just try to do an all-in. Leenock has shown Speedling all-ins in the past in this match. He's shown all sorts of all-ins, and it's a really good choice to try to hide that probe. I like that quite a bit.
It's actually so weird to hear the name Leenock and sandbag player in the same sentence.
Yes, it is.
With an 0-3 here, never what I expected coming to the studio today, seeing Leenock really fall off so far. The third base for him is now going down once again in 4 minutes. A very, very normal opening that he has. Of course, the cooling towers immediately being attacked gives you a little bit more safety if you take those down. And he's sending in another probe, and that's actually so smart because the probe at the bottom left, that is not only going to be used for scouting. He can use that probe for a pylon and then warp in units if Leenock never spots it. We've seen players lose because of that in the past, and therefore Ruin sending out that second probe is such a smart move.
We absolutely could see that. And this is a really big annoyance for Leenock, the fact that his third base was scouted. And it's something that he knows, and he's like, I was attacking those rocks at just the wrong time. I don't think Leenock is ever going to scout this. There's no reason for him to.
I think there's a very big chance that Leenock is going to lose that game to a pylon on this main base.
There's definitely a high chance.
I mean, it takes a long time for you to actually get there when we have warp tech and everything done. But at this point, it really looks like this is one of those bases where you have a lot of space, and there is just, for Leenock, at this point, no reason to send anything to the left, especially with him assuming that the probe was now at the third.
And here's why I agree with you. You know, ordinarily I'd say, somebody like Ruin's not going to put it all on that. But he hasn't sent it to scout the gas, and that's the only reason. He would have sent it by now if that was the only reason he has the probe on the main.
He would be insane to not do it.
So right now, he's going to just go for Phoenixes and the 4 warp gates, it looks like.
You know, if you think about the investment, he goes for his normal style, but the investment here is like nothing. If you actually see, okay, that's working, and just put down the pylon, what do you invest? 100 minerals? That's like nothing right there. This is like a free win that you basically get. Or if not a free win, it's at least giving you such an advantageous position against your opponent.
And it's got such a great element of surprise.
But only, of course, if it's not scouted. I mean, Leenock might just as well build a structure more to the left side and then maybe even see it.
And he has to place his pylon really carefully, too. If he makes it just too much to the right, he will be spotted by the extractor. I don't think Leenock will see it, though. I mean, there's no reason for him to check for it. It's actually, if he sees it, it's going to be a coincidence only.
There are no additional gateways coming down, though.
Not yet, yeah. It looks like if he does it, he's going to wait for +1, which means he'll add the gateways in maybe 20 to 40 seconds from now.
Uh-oh. Oh, boy. This is not good for Leenock.
Leenock so far going into a pretty normal build otherwise, getting a Roach Warren here, the Lair Tech. And here come those gates, as I said, about 20 seconds later.
Yep, and we should see the pylon coming up.
He's going to wait until the last second to make the pylon, because that's going to be basically the final step, and either wants no chances of it being scouted.
And the cool thing for him is he doesn't risk anything. This is just a normal build that he's executing.
Oh,
He
the
gets
Overlord going
gateways a
back.
little bit further.
You know, he's going back to hide it from the Phoenixes, and they could see the pylon, or rather the probe.
He's actually not going to the natural. Could just barely
I think
see
he may
it.
see it. It's going to be so close, Calder.
That would be so annoying for Ruin. And I actually think you're right.
I think he's going to see it, man.
Oh
my God.
That would be so
He
funny.
sees it.
Oh
Does he
my
realize?
God.
He has to realize that the gateways are done. I don't know if he realizes it, man. I don't think he's realizing it. He's not sending anything.
Think about how funny that would be if that actually causes the Himna to lose the game. And the
8
pylon
roaches.
is there. It's too late already. Here should be the warp in. The roaches are being built, but if that is such a funny coincidence here, the Overlord being sent back to
He doesn't know it's
just
been seen, and he actually will not. This is not going to work.
Oh my God, Ruin is so unlucky. The Overlord sent down to be safe from the Phoenixes, and that spots it.
Yeah, that's. Oh, I can't believe he's warping in Zealots here. That's like actually so silly. Why would he warp in Zealots there? That makes no sense.
He's gonna lose everything here. The Hydrolists are moving in. If he's committing more resources to this, he's just gonna lose them. More units already being built and streaming in.
He kills a lot of roaches, but
you know, I completely think that getting that Stargate, yes, it sets you up to a safer opening, but I feel he should have just rolled the dice here and just went for gateways, nothing else, get the pylon up earlier and just kill the main.
You know,
it would have worked. The Overlord only moved into this position because of the Phoenixes on the map, because he was trying to hide it.
It's true. Well, you know, Ruin is...
I mean, he hasn't lost the game.
He lost, it's basically like he lost a Nexus or something. I mean, not like a Nexus that was planted, but the same amount of resources goes down there, plus the pylon. And he kills the roaches, and he also forced the roaches. So... I would say that Leenock gets an edge from this, but it's not like Ruin is screwed over because his build got scouted. And like you said, it's not a huge investment to even make the pylon in the first place. It was more so the problem with the Zealots.
That was so unlucky, by the way. The Overlord just stopped barely in range.
And the pylon didn't have enough vision to see the Overlords. If he had seen the Overlord, he would have just cancelled. But of course, you can't see that with your pylon.
That was just crazy. Hive Tick, look at that Hive Tick timing.
Yeah, this is going to be, I think, Ultra's coming out next. He doesn't have a Spire.
Well, I'm not quite sure if we actually see Ultralist, because Ultralist...
Vipers, I mean to say, not Ultralist, sorry.
Okay. Well, here we go, with Phoenixes trying to get close enough to those Hydras. Not really the best idea without ground support.
This is going to be a tough hold, but it is possible. The problem being the Nexus isn't quite complete. It's about to. The Nexus completing gives him that overcharge ability. The Phoenixes are going to be able to sweep in from the side. Needs to bring those together. Leenock is already droning up, starts to Spire, and here's the attack is on.
The attack is on. There's a lot of DPS here for Leenock. I just don't think that it's going to be enough with the photon overcharge drop, which is not the case. I mean, we had not enough energy on the Mothership core, but now it's enough to do that.
Yep, now he has enough. Thought he was just trying to be patient, but actually he just didn't have enough, which ends up working out for him. He doesn't waste it.
For Leenock, nothing changes. The outcome of this game is not important, but if Ruin wins this, he is in the Premier League. There come the Vipers.
Vipers coming out here, just 2 of them for now. It's very expensive in gas, so he has to wait. He just dropped 200 on the Spire, which is going to be for Corruptors most likely. Well, and then later on, of course, Greater Spire if it comes to that.
Phoenix is trying to move in. The speed upgrade for the Hydra is not done just yet, but on creep, it's definitely more than enough to catch up with those Phoenixes.
Yeah.
Bam, 1 drone for Phoenix, not the trade you want to go for.
Definitely not. You got ripped off. I feel like Leenock is in a really good spot because he's had his 4th base for so long. The Phoenixes, if they find the Vipers, would be great, but I just don't see that happening.
You need to be careful with your Phoenixes. It's not like you can rebuy them at 1-1.
No.
There's no special.
No special.
You know, with the Broodlords now coming up, yeah, it doesn't have any upgrades for the Broodlings. That is one of the problems that he, of course, has. But it's also one of those techs that I'm not quite sure if Ruin is really expecting that. He didn't scout anything, and he has 5 Phoenixes. That's nice and fine, but like that's not going to be enough to deal with a huge Broodlord army.
Yeah, you know, the Immortals are going to be the targets of the Yanks here. He still didn't see them, I don't think. Yeah, he definitely didn't. So...
it's time for the Vipers. There are no High Templars for feedbacks.
None at all.
Immortals.
Show goes up. The Immortals get pulled right away. There's still a 3rd one here. And the Immortals are fighting against, you know, some of those units. The Stalkers and the Immortals need to be targeting a little bit better.
Leenock with a good move here, taking down those Phoenixes. The unit control of him not the best, but definitely good enough to cause a lot of damage here. We have one additional Immortal now in the mix, but he doesn't have enough. Leenock does not have enough to push through just
The
yet.
blink forward might be a bit overzealous, though. There's more reinforcements than Ruin expected. I don't think Ruin realizes how much economy Leenock really has to burn pushing into this. I think he thought, oh, this is going to be a small attack. I held it, but it's not over yet. And Leenock, he lost a lot of his units, but he's still massively ahead here, and he has the Greater Spire finished up now.
Ruin wants High Templars now. He's going into Storm, and the High Templars are being morphed in, and that allows him to do something against the Vipers. The big problem for him really being that he didn't identify those Broodlords. He didn't see the Greater Spire. So now he just thinks, all right, I'm going to get my Storm. I'm going to be set up against the Roaches and the Zerglings, especially, of course, against the Hydralisks. And if I get my own High Templars out there, they can also just feed back those Vipers. But he never really thought that there would be some kind of Broodlord transition. He doesn't have Tempests, he doesn't have enough Stalkers, and he does not really have enough Phoenixes.
Yeah. Right now, Ruin is like in 2012 still listening to the Backstreet Boys CDs. He thinks we're like in a different time period than we are, but we've moved into the Broodlord stage, and he is not preparing.
At 16 minutes.
Yeah.
He really rushed that out. With good Storms and a blink forward, might be able to take those out, but if that doesn't work, then he is up against Broodlings all day long.
And he still hasn't seen them. The Observer almost did, but he didn't get the alt knowledge. He knows it's way too late to transition now. He has to hope for perfect Storms and a lot of luck. The Mothership Core not going to be too useful here. Used a lot of that energy earlier. He doesn't have a fourth base.
Look at that army. Yet. Nearly 200 supply. The bank is there too. And here we go.
Storms are good, actually, so far. And the Broodlord's a little bit slow here.
Exactly as I said earlier. With good Storms and the Blink, he might be able to make that work. And actually, he chases that away for now. But the Broodlings, of course, working against him.
A decent trade here for Ruin, but he needs more than that. Time Warp goes down, buying him a little bit more time. The Mutalisk switch is on. 14 of those on the way. More Stalkers coming in on the other hand.
The Mutalisk switch, a very interesting move with all the Stalkers on the map, but he tries to make that work. Blinding Cloud, really well done. Where are those Storms? He doesn't have High Templars anymore.
He doesn't have the High Templars anymore, but the raw damage output of those Immortals may be enough. Now that he walks out of the Blinding Cloud, he targets down the Broodlords, but too much lost, Kaldor, and when the Mutas come in, that's going to be all over.
All of the Stalkers are gone. The Mutalisks, they are already on their way. And yes, he can lose this army, but once the Mutalisks start bouncing between the bases, then that's the time when Ruin is really going to lose a lot. But if that doesn't work, you know, if he somehow holds against this, the question is just how.
Yeah. Well, I just don't think he can.
He doesn't expect that.
He doesn't have enough Templar. I don't even think he has any. If he had one in his main base, that would be like cheating. And here they come. He may even just type out here. There's nothing he can do. I mean, literally nothing. He doesn't have a Mothership Core.
As a Protoss player, you hate that feeling when you suddenly see 10 Mutalisks headed for your base.
You'd rather walk home and find out your computer's broken.
I wouldn't go that far.
The Mutants actually not getting a whole lot done just yet, but they are going to ravage that fourth base. The Lings coming in here as well on hold position. Ruin just doesn't have enough units to split and defend here. He's doing his best so far.
Yeah, he's doing actually a much better job than I thought he would be able to, so that is not too shabby, especially when you think about what we have for Ruin in the game. He didn't lose too many Harvesters, he's at 64.
The fourth base is so critical here.
He has, you know, he can always warp in additional High Templars, and he has already 18 Stalkers on decent upgrades.
And those two pros, man, they were definitely worth it. They actually bought Ruin so much time.
Yeah, the High Templars, Storm.
High Templar, he needs more time to get Storm out, but he could also make one Archon.
Yeah, Storm and Archons, that would be exactly what he needed here.
There's the Archon.
There's the Archon. And, you know...
Leenock may try to attack directly. He may just try to fight the army head on, and that's where that Archon comes into play. He doesn't see it. Oh no, Ruin doesn't see it. He's too distracted by the Lings at his third.
At the third base. He actually saw something at his own fourth, and he's moving up now, but the Stalkers are already in position for that. Here comes the rest of the army. He needs to blink away.
He needs to blink away. The Archon doing as much damage as he can before his Magic Box. Leenock just has too many mutas, it looks like here.
Where's the rest of the Stalkers? They are still at the third base. They are not attacking here, but more are being warped in right now, and Leenock has to retreat once again. Leenock is burning a lot of resources.
He's burning a lot of resources.
He has another base though, and he's getting even another one.
He's getting another one. He has 5 bases, soon to be 6. He has resources to burn right now. He just needs to be careful he doesn't lose his entire army.
I'm just afraid one Storm hits. You know, with Storm against Lings and Mutalisks, you can do so much. I mean, oh wow, 12 additional Mutalisks are being built. Leenock is going all out with this.
Yeah, there's certainly no other way to describe this. The Templar, does he have enough energy? Doesn't look like it since he's running the wrong direction here.
Here come those Stalkers, forcing this back for now, but a lot of the probes are already gone. 52 are still there though.
Leenock making 5 more mutas. This Immortal's going to die, but it's not like it was useful for anything here. The Warp Prism...
What is Leenock's Mutalisk count? He's getting another 8 right now. This is getting crazy. He's
46.
at 38 and will go up to 46.
And this Warp Prism, just, I mean, even if he could get it over there, it's not like Ruin can make it work, man.
Yeah, he just escapes the Spore Crawler and then the Mutalisks are there. Like, for Ruin, he needs Storms. If he gets good Storms against the Mutalisks, he can actually win that game. That's a funny thing when you play Mutalisk. If the Protoss player holds and gets the High Templars out, if you're in the wrong spot at the wrong time and a double Storm hits you, and you can't escape fast enough, you might lose your entire Muta army. But that's the only chance that he has.
Exactly, and it doesn't look like there's any Templar here. That one's out of energy.
And the Stalkers just go down. He needs to blink away of those.
GG, Leenock. He's going to force the 3-way tie. We just don't know who the third player to go into it is just yet.
Yep, 3-way tie. That's what we have now. Huh. Leenock taking 1 game today.
Yep, and that's exactly what he wanted with that last game, is to just at least get the 1 win so he doesn't look like the super sandbag.
It was actually the worst day for players to go into a 3-way tie. The day where I'm getting sick.
Yeah, you've been getting sick. I was sick a few days ago, and now it seems to be you. I don't think it's related, though.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But
you were actually in Finland most of the time while I was sick.
I'm starting to get a little bit of a fever, and that is hitting today. So today they go into the 3-way tie. Well, let's find out how long we're actually here, but I am already really looking forward to going home and hit the hay. I need some sleep to recover. But yeah, looking at this now, we have, of course, the 3-way tie as already announced. The only question is whether Pickbaby or Avenge will have to participate within the 3-way tie. The winner of the next game will go to the Premier League, and the loser is going to be playing in the 3-way tie that we have.
No. So this is one of those games where you're in it to win it, but at least if you lose, you still have a lot more opportunities, because a 3-way tie is... it's very, very... there's a lot of flexibility there. Since we don't have a wildcard group, it's going to be much easier to determine than some of the other 3-way ties we've had in the past.
We need just to play until one player has 2 wins.
Yeah.
Usually, if you have a 3-way tie, you determine which 2 players are advancing. You play until until 1 player loses twice. Here we are going to play later on until 1 player wins twice.
Anaconda is the map for Protoss vs. Protoss. Things can get wacky on this map with Blink Stalkers, DT Warpison on the back with that pylon placement that's like Delta Quadrant. Anything could go down here. This is going to be a crazy Protoss vs. Protoss Calor. I'm expecting something weird.
Especially in the PvP.
Yeah. Both players can warp in, so why wouldn't they? You know, DTs against somebody who might be trying to cut corners. I actually think that this game is going to be one of our craziest ones we've seen today.
And we had a couple of crazy matches already.
That's true.
Going into the last game of the regular group, we have now Avenge going up against Pickbaby. Yeah, the up and down group C with Cullen Wolf. To the bottom right of the map,